So at this point, I think Kyrie rumors, they're kind of put to bed at this point. I don't think we're really going to get Kyrie at this point. And if we do get Kyrie, it's going to be into the season, close to the trade deadline, or maybe closer to Christmas. But with regards to the offseason, I do not believe we're going to get Kyrie. So where do the Lakers stand right now? And what moves does it seem that they should make heading into the season with their best foot forward? New additions to the roster include Troy Brown, Thomas Bryant, Max Christie, who was drafted, Juan Toscano-Anderson from the Warriors, which I did tell you guys we should sign him, Lonnie Walker from the Spurs, and we do have, guys like Stanley Johnson, Damian Jones, and Scottie Pippen Jr. and Cole Swider, who I'm gonna make a video on pretty soon because he's been playing well in the summer league, and I think he might have a pretty good future with us. Speaking of Cole Swider, I think he could potentially replace a player that the Lakers probably gave a bad contract to, probably a little bit too early, and that is THT, who received a 3-year deal a couple years ago. Now, thus far, the roster has been filled with a couple of promising young guys, but as we all know, any team that houses LeBron is a win now mentality. So really and truly, most of these guys seem to be expendable, where they can either be trade value or guys that the Lakers end up using as young talent to build towards a championship. Young guys in the league aren't the best when it comes to winning championships. LeBron knows that very well, which is exactly why when he goes to these teams, he's on 1+1 deals so that they can have the most flexibility with regards to building the team and winning a championship now. As you can tell by the title, this video is specifically about THT and the Lakers moving him. Now, I have been a THT fan from the beginning, but more recently, I have fallen out of love with him, and his most recent Drew League debut, it didn't do him any favors. And truth be told, I know NBA circles, they don't really care about what players do in the summer, but his stat line and how he played against a bunch of average Joes or guys that play overseas that aren't in the league that he is in, playing for the team that he is playing in, and THT did a lot worse than those guys. Now, 60 games during the season, THT averaged 10 points with a lowly 41.6 field goal percentage, which is well below league average, and he shot threes at a 26.9 clip. Now, there is one game, and I believe it was against the Warriors, where he dropped 40 points. He might have dropped 50, I don't remember. It was one game out of the year from a guy that we're expecting a lot of scoring from. So that tells you how forgettable this year has been for him. Now, let's not forget he is 21 going on 22 years old. So he is a very young talent, and he did not go to a very high major school. So this is a guy that was really and truly a project coming into the league in the first place. But at this point, with the team we have and the roster we have, having LeBron ready to win a championship, I don't think THT is the kind of guy to have. This weekend, he played for the hometown favorites, and his team did win 81-67 against the Saints. But THT in a league full of, like I said, average Joes, guys that play overseas, and guys that just aren't in the NBA playing on teams like a Lakers team, THT just managed to get 14 points on 5 for 13 shooting, 6 boards, 2 steals, and 1 block. Now, if anything from this performance shows you anything, it just shows he's not that consistent with shooting the ball. The Drew League, if you guys aren't familiar, they do have the 3-point line pushed back to an NBA 3. So it's not like they're playing high school 3. These are actual NBA dimensions when it comes to 3-pointers and 2-pointers and things of that nature. Now, we all know what LeBron did in the Drew League, and I'm not even gonna compare him to LeBron, because THT compared to LeBron, that's just completely unfair. But if I talk about another guy that played in another pro-am circuit, the crossover, by the name of Malachi Flynn, who plays for the Raptors, and he's a guard that is a dog, do not get me wrong. He scored 73 points in the pro-am that he played in over this weekend. That might be something that shows where THT is and why he's so far behind the 8 ball. Now, Malachi Flynn 73 points might be an extreme example, but Flynn's dominance is exactly what you expect from an NBA player in a setting of this nature. Now, it is understood that the Drew League is one of the best, if not the best, pro-am circuits out there during the summer. It does house many ballers that play overseas, some that play domestic land. It has college players that are going to the NBA. Hell, I even saw Paolo Banchero playing on the team. So it does have some talent in this league. So don't get me wrong and don't get me mistaken when I say there's talent here, but seeing what Malachi Flynn did and what THT did, it's not too much of a discrepancy. The crossover does consistently have a star talent there as well, just like the Drew League. It is a very prominent League, just like the Drew League. They are both sponsored by Adidas. So that does show you the type of level these proms are at. Now again, Malachi Flynn, his 73 might just be an exaggeration, but an NBA player in this setting, that's what you expect, especially with a guy like THT, whose game is dependent on breaking down defenders with his dribbling and his isolation game. Now, to add much needed context, because I am big on context, as most of you guys know, because if we're gonna have a hoop debate or hoop discussion or anything of that nature, you have to add context to the discussion. And the context here is that Malachi Flynn played 12.2 minutes for the Raptors last season, a game, of course. THT played 25.2 for the Lakers last season. And guess what? Malachi Flynn has averaged 4.3 points in his career. At this point, I believe the Lakers should take anything they can get for THT, and at the very least, his days of being a centerpiece in a trade for the Lakers, they're long gone at this point. So I think the Lakers should get what they can, try to get a sharpshooter or a guy that can create a shot better, more consistently, a more veteran kind of guy that's like a THT. But tell me what you guys think in the comments below. If you are new, you don't know what to do. So I'm gonna tell you now, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. But if you are not new, go ahead and hit that like button. You already know what to do. And if you haven't already, go ahead and hit that notification bell so that you're notified whenever this video drops and any other banger of a video drops. So until next time, it is your boy TB with the greatest hoop stories, debates, and discussions on the tube. And I'm out. Peace.